how's it going YouTube? This is Ray from Asian Feminist, and I'm just a guy who loves movies. And today we're going to talk about the 2014 film Tokyo Tribe by renowned director Sono Sion. Now Tokyo Tribe, much like many of the movies I talk about on this channel, it's based off of manga and anime, but much like all those other adaptations, I've never actually seen or read the source material. But as I always say, you should be able to enjoy these movies for what they are, as a single cinematic experience. Now Tokyo Tribe, it's pretty infamous amongst many filmgoers in that it is pretty damn insane. So the story happens in Tokyo, and it's not the kind of Tokyo that many of you know and love. It's a kind of different Tokyo in which gangs, or tribes as they're called in this movie, the tribes rule the land. And all these tribes, they claim different territories in different parts of the city. You got tribes from Shinjuku, from Ikebukuro, to Nerima, and they all have pretty ridiculous names. Like the Nerima tribe, they're called the Neri motherfuckers. One of the Shinjuku tribes, they're called the Shinjuku Hands. I guess they're named after the Tokyo Hands shop that's in Shinjuku, I don't know. You have the Bukuro Wulons, who, I don't know, they might be named after oolong tea. But yeah, each of these tribes, not only do they have a different territory to claim, they also each have a different gimmick. And needless to say, they all hate each other, but they are forced to consider unification when the crime lord Buppa threatens to destroy all the tribes and take over the city of Tokyo. Now it's kind of interesting, the world of Tokyo tribes. Think the worlds of the Crows movies, Crow 0, 1 and 2, Crow's Explosion, mixed with the Warriors, and then mixed with all the Schumacher Batman movies like Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. So you have a bunch of action set pieces performed by mobs, you have martial arts, and you have raw fisticuffs, all combined together into this kind of comical and over-the-top vibrant world. To label the world of Tokyo tribes as over-the-top, that's not really giving it all that justice. But basically in this world of Tokyo Tribe, it takes kind of everything stereotypical about hip-hop music, all the tropes and kind of all the different fashion styles, and kind of makes them all into caricatures. And for some reason, the over-the-topness, it kind of works for me. I don't know if you know my cinematic taste, but I eat up over-the-top movies. And that's Sono Sion for you. All his movies are really eccentric, and it blends well with my taste. Sono Sion's other movies, like Suicide Circle or Suicide Club. Yeah, loved it. Love Exposure. Why Don't You Play in Hell? Even the recently released Tag from last year. It was kind of strange, but for how crazy and insane it was, I enjoyed it somewhat. But Tokyo Tribe, let's just get into it. These are the things I enjoyed about the movie. First of all, everything is crazy over the top. I eat it up. I love over the top. Give me your best Sono Sions, give me your best Miike Takashis, give me your Nishimura Yoshihiros, give me your Iguchi Noborus. No, I love them all. And like I said before, the movie takes all these tropes, all these stereotypes of hip-hop music and culture, and creates this really strange and bizarre world. And adding to that, this movie is unique and one of a kind in that it's a hip-hop musical. And it's not a musical in the sense that it takes a lot of old hip-hop covers and injects them into the soundtrack. No, it has its own original soundtrack, and almost all the dialogue and all the way the story is told is said through rhymes. And the rhymes themselves, they aren't too bad. And the beats, yeah, they're kind of addictive. They'll be ringing in your head long after you finish this crazy movie. And on top of all the hip-hop, you have all these crazy elements mashing together. You got guys with baseball bats fighting against guys with samurai swords. You got a guy decked out in bling bling samurai armor, whose tribe's base of headquarters is the robot restaurant in Kabukicho, by the way. And they ride one of the robot restaurant's tanks into the heart of battle. It is crazy. And of course, you have my Japanese celeb man crush, Suzuki Ryohei, who's damn near naked through half of the movie. For about 15 or 20 minutes of the movie, you see Suzuki Ryohei in a thong. And the rest of the time, he's just shirtless. And then on the sidelines, you have a granny DJ who's saying, listen to these fresh beats, y'all. I don't even know anymore. This movie is just totally crazy. But, I loved it. But all the actors, they're all hammy as hell. They're all over the top. But, they embrace the ham, and they just own it. Some more unnecessarily over the top than others. But, we can get into that later when we talk about the bad things. But it all added to create this really insane world. I can't stop using the words crazy, insane, and mad. That's just what this movie is. Another thing I enjoyed about Tokyo Tribe is that the camera was really dynamic and kinetic. Like the whole opening sequence, when you kind of are introduced to the world of Tokyo Tribe, it was this long one-shot take, and the camera was moving from one side of the set to the other, moving along, and it was really smooth. And it really showed off this vibrant, alternate Tokyo. And you can really notice the camera work in the next thing I thought that was great about this movie, and that was the action. All the action set pieces in Tokyo Tribe, they were all exciting, they were all energetic, and it was all really fun to watch. And like I said earlier, you have your martial arts in this movie too. Like the two main girls, Seino Nana and Sakaguchi Makoto, they were amazing. Like Seino Nana, if you ever seen Danger Dolls, that wasn't a really good movie, but she's legit when it comes to action. And Sakaguchi Makoto, her core skills, she's a breakdancer, and she shows off her skills with doing all the martial arts scenes in this movie. You had your scenes with martial arts to make it feel like a martial arts movie, and then you had your scenes with raw fisticuffs to make it look like a gang movie too. Gang's in the same line as Crows Zero 1 and 2 and Crows Explode. But the movie, it felt stylish when it wanted to be, and it felt raw when it wanted to be, and that was cool. Now, as much as I love all the crazy stuff they throw at you in Tokyo Tribe, I have to talk about the bad things, yeah? I have as many gripes with this movie as I do with things I love. And one of the biggest gripes I have about this movie is that it felt like there were no real clear protagonists or even antagonists. Like, it starts off with Sometani Shota. He's essentially the narrator of the story. So at first you think it might be him, but then it kind of bounces back and forth between some of the different gangs. And then you think the main character is Sunmi, who is the girl played by Seino Nana. But then the narrative bounces back and forth between certain characters. And then finally, in the last 1 hour or 45 minutes of the movie, we get introduced to our de facto protagonist in the name of Kai, who's played by rapper Young Dice. And having him as a main character, it made sense for the sake of the story, but the way they portrayed it felt kind of weak, because usually you want your protagonist to be strong from the start, and you want the story told really from his eyes from the start. And it's kind of unfortunate, because in the first half of the movie, it takes so much time to really introduce all the tribes, to kind of build up this world, to kind of build up the bad guy, but you really don't have a sense of who the lead character is until the second half of the film. And even the antagonist, at first you think you know who the main antagonist is, and you think it's Buppa, who's played by Takeuchi Riki. But then suddenly the narrative of the bad guy shifts to Mera, who's played by Suzuki Ryohei. And then by the end it's kind of confusing. Is this conflict supposed to be based around Buppa's thirst for power, or is it supposed to be based around Mera's? And in the end, it was a big letdown. When you find out Mera's reason for being a bad guy, it was like, really? That's it? You're causing all this mess because of your... I don't know. And all in all, the characters were pretty flat. They're all two-dimensional. It felt like no characters really went through an arc and really had time to develop. And the second thing I want to critique negatively about this movie is that, aside from being first and only hip-hop musical of its kind in, at least in Japanese cinema, the rapping wasn't all that great. And that's because the majority of the actors in this movie are actors, they're not rappers. Save for Young Dice, who plays the lead character Kai. Out of all the lead characters, he is probably the only genuine MC out of the whole group. And I especially want to comment about Sometani Shota's rapping. It wasn't good. He plays MC Sho, who is the narrator of this movie. And if you've ever seen Sometani Shota's other movies, he kind of has this natural sleepy-eyed look. And the narrator of this movie, I feel like he had to get you hyped. But Sometani Shota doesn't do that at all. He has this sleepy-eyed persona while he's rapping, and he kind of looks unspirited. He's like, Tokyo Tribe, Tokyo Tribe. And it just didn't work out. And if you listen to the soundtrack of the movie, you can kind of feel a clear divide on who are the genuine rappers and who are merely the actors. And another thing, I said earlier that I love the over-the-top world, I love the over-the-top acting, but some actors just take it to another level more so than others. And to point one person out, that's Takeuchi Riki, who plays the lead villain, Buppa. If there's one actor in Japanese cinema that you want to ask to have up any character, it has to be Takeuchi Riki. Like, there's only so much you can take of his facial expressions before you just get tired of it. Like, he makes these kinds of expressions. And then you think, it was funny for the first minute, but then when you have to spend the whole entire movie watching it, it gets really tiresome. And finally, the last gripe I want to talk about is that it felt the way the antagonist went out of the movie, it was all really anticlimactic. And the way not some, but all the villains get off, they're all really unsatisfying. And then some of them, you don't even realize have been off until you notice a few minutes later that they're no longer on screen. And then you probably end up doing what I did, and as I rewound the movie, trying to find the exact moment when each of the villains get off, and then you see that, oh yeah, they got kicked off screen, and then that was it. But yeah, Tokyo Tribe, the bottom line is, it's a unique and one-of-a-kind experience, most definitely. It's visually appealing, but lacking a lot in depth. The narrative is really messy, and the main conflict of the film is really muddled. But over everything, the movie is batshit insane. And if you're the kind of person like me who loves the insane stuff, then you can probably forgive this movie for all its weak points. But you should still check Tokyo Tribe out. You know, I can definitely recommend this film for fans of batshit ideas and Sono Sion's eccentric personality. But you know, those are just my thoughts on Tokyo Tribe. What did you guys think? Whatever your thoughts are, leave a comment below. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Asian Filmist for more reviews and discussions on Asian films. You can also chat with us on our Facebook and Twitter. And if you subscribe to our email newsletter, you can receive a free copy of our ebook, The 108 Asian Films for New Fans to Watch. Once again, my name is Ray. You can find me on Twitter at RayMaru555. And that's about it. Alright everyone, I'm about to watch another movie. I'll be back soon, yeah?